Hi, Maureen Zappala here with some tips to take your presentation skills to that next level. Have you ever thought about how fast you speak when you're giving a speech or making a presentation? I mean, have you ever been in a presentation where the speaker talks so fast there is no possible way you could keep up with them? And even if you could keep up with them, you couldn't retain or process what they said because they just packed so much information into such a short amount of time. Well, a few months ago, I was working on developing content for my quarterly presentation skills training workshops. And one of the topics that I teach about is speaking speed. I wanted to come up with a good concrete way to demonstrate what happens in our brains when somebody is speaking to us and why it is so necessary as a speaker to slow down. Because bottom line, folks, way too many of us speak way too quickly. I'm guilty of it myself. But let me tell you what happens in your brain. You see, you've got the left side and the right side. The left side is logical, right? And the right side is creative. Words come into the left side of your brain and you can understand it. You hear them because your ears work, but you understand it because you understand the language. But when those words come into the left side of your brain, the right side of your brain kicks into gear and immediately starts to process those words in its creative way. Maybe it'll draw a word picture or create an image, a visual image in your brain. Maybe it'll draw on a memory, and maybe it will start to ask you questions. In other words, the information comes in on the left side, and the right side is having a party, having its own conversation going on. You see, the problem, though, is if the words from the left and the images and conversation from the right don't match, the right brain takes over, and your listeners' minds will start to wander. And as speakers, we need to engage the entire part of the brain, the left brain and the right brain. But one of the best ways to do it, one of the essential ways to ensure that you can engage them is first to speak slowly enough. Now, here's exactly what happens in your brain. And I kind of came up with this analogy, this metaphor, this visual metaphor, being a visual person that I am. I have a bottle of A&W Diet Root Beer. My favorite, God's favorite. Oh, the stuff is terrific. This is the best adult beverage. Now, you know what happens when you take some warm pop and pour it into a glass of ice, right? Watch what happens. You take the pop, oh my, and it fizzes up. And you have to wait until it settles down. And as it settles down, there's room in there. You could take more pop, but look, it starts to fizz up again. So you have to wait again. Well, think about it. This is your brain. This is your brain on pop. No, actually, it's really a good comparison. Your brain is much like the glass of ice. The words coming into it are like the warm pop. As you pour the words in, your right side of your brain creates a picture, and you have to give your brain some time to process it. If you're a speaker, you have to let your audience process the words. You have to let it fizz and then settle back down. You have to let it fizz and settle back down. And you do that with pacing your words. You need to give your listeners time to process that information in the right side of their brain so that they can process it, draw this analogous picture to what you're saying, and then be able to receive more words from you as a speaker. So if I could summarize this in just a short phrase, it would not simply be drink Diet Root Beer, A&W Root Beer. No. My thoughts for you as a speaker are simply this: slow down. Give your audience the gift of time to let their right brain create this picture, this conversation that is consistent with the words coming in to their left brain. slow down. You do that simple trick, and you will set yourself way ahead, way apart, way different from most every other speaker out there. I promise. That's good.